It's impossible to hack Rockstar Games, especially if you're under police surveillance, have your computer confiscated, and are locked in a hotel. 18-year-old Arian Cordage did it with an Amazon Fire Stick and a TV. My name is Mr. Dark Web, and today I'm going to tell you about a teenager who declared war on the tech giants and lost. Or did he win? September 2022 year. Travelodge Hotel in the suburbs of London. In a room on the third floor, a skinny guy with disheveled hair sits. There are cops outside the door. He's under house arrest after being accused of hacking into Microsoft and Nvidia. His laptop has been confiscated. His smartphone seized. Any normal person in this situation would sit quietly and await trial. But Arian Cordage was not a normal person. While the guards drank coffee in the corridor, he plugged in an Amazon Fire Stick, a streaming device that the police did not consider dangerous, into the TV. Big mistake. Using a wireless keyboard and mouse, Arian loaded a browser through it, then connected to his rented server in Sweden. He had only a few hours left before another checkup. What happened next will go down in history as the most audacious hack in the video game industry. But to understand how an 18-year-old diagnosed with autism got to this point, we need to go back a few years. To the very beginning. Oxford, the year 2014. 10-year-old Arian sits in the headmaster's office. His mother is beside him, rubbing her temples tiredly. This is the third school in 2 years. Mrs. Cordage, we can't keep your son in a regular class any longer. He is special. Special. It's a word that's haunted Arian his whole life. Autism spectrum disorder, ADHD, socialization problems. In the real world, he was an outcast. Classmates avoided the strange boy who could talk for hours about the structure of computer code, but couldn't understand simple social cues. Teachers did not know what to do with him. He was transferred to a special school for children with special developmental needs. For most people, this would be the end of normal life. For Arian, it was the beginning. At home, in his room, he discovered another world. A world where you didn't have to understand people's emotions. A world of pure logic and code. A world where he was a god. Minecraft. For millions of kids, it's just a game about cubes. For Arian, it became his first playground for experimentation. In the year 2017, at the age of 13, he started simple. He used cheats to gain advantages. But he quickly realized, why use other people's software when you can create your own? He started learning Java, the language in which Minecraft is written. Then he learned how to find vulnerabilities in server code. Imagine, thousands of players building their worlds, and one teenager can bring it all down with one line of code. Power. For the first time in his life, Arian felt real power. By the year 2019, 15-year-old Arian had grown out of Minecraft. Childhood games no longer interested him. He wanted more, and then something happened that changed everything. He hacked into a page on NASA's website. Yes, you heard right. The U.S. National Aeronautics and Space Administration. Of course, it wasn't a secret database, just one of the public pages. But for the Oxford teenager, it was like landing on the moon. He took a screenshot of the official NASA website with his signature. White Doxman was here. He posted this screenshot on a hacker forum. And that's when it got interesting. Personal messages poured in by the dozens. Cool, man. Teach me. Want to join our team? For the first time in his life, Arian was popular. For the first time, he was respected. In the real world, he remained a weird autistic teenager. On the Darknet, he became a legend. He started talking to other hackers. He learned about methods he had only read about before. SIM swapping. It's as if you could intercept someone else's phone number and get all the SMS with confirmation codes. Social engineering. The art of getting the person themselves to give you the password. These techniques were like lockpicks, and the whole internet was a huge lock just waiting to be opened. In the year 2021, 17-year-old Aryan formed his first serious band, Infinity Recursion. The name was a reference to the infinite loop in programming, a bug that can bring down any system. Symbolic, isn't it? The group specialized in SIM swapping and selling data piercing services. They used fake legal requests to get information from phone companies. It was like a game of poker, where the stakes are other people's identities, and bluffing is your main weapon. Aryan quickly realized the main rule of the Darknet. There are no friends here, only temporary allies. Everyone has their own agenda. Some want money, some want fame, some just want chaos. Aryan wanted it all, but Infinity Recursion was just a warm-up, a preparation for something bigger. Aryan was looking for like-minded people, not just criminal hackers who quietly steal credit card data. He was looking for revolutionaries, someone willing to challenge the system itself, and he found them. The end of the 2021 year. A closed chat room in Telegram. 7 participants from different countries, ages from 14 to 21. Each had their own story, their own grievances against the world. One thing they had in common was a desire to prove that a group of teenagers could bring billion-dollar corporations to their knees. They needed a name, something bold, memorable. Someone suggested digital chaos. Someone else suggested system crash. But Aryan came up with a better one. Lapsus, a mistake, a blunder, an oversight, with a dollar instead of an S, as a mockery of those who think only of money. The perfect name for a band that was about to become Silicon Valley's worst nightmare. It wasn't an American corporation that was the first target. Too obvious. They hit the Brazilian Ministry of Health. December 2021. 50 terabytes of data stolen and deleted. Systems paralyzed. Panic in the government. The world didn't yet know that this was just the beginning. A group of teenagers, led by an 18-year-old autistic man, had declared war on the digital world. And this war was just beginning. Aryan sat in his room in Oxford, watching Brazilian news channels discuss the attack in panic. On his laptop screen, personal correspondence from ministers, vaccination databases, classified documents. The entire health system of a country of 200 million people lay before him like an open book. In the real world, he was still a weird teenager who couldn't hold a simple conversation. His mother still took him to psychiatrists. The teachers at the special school still looked at him with pity, but in the digital world, he was king. And his empire was just beginning to grow. Electronic Arts, NVIDIA, Samsung, Microsoft will be the next targets. Names that everyone knows, corporations that thought they were untouchable. They didn't yet know that a group of teenagers led by Aryan Cordage were preparing a surprise for them. But this was just the beginning. Soon he would declare war on the titans of industry themselves, and that war would change everything. January 2022 year. Electronic Arts headquarters in California. The guard at the front desk yawns, finishing his 4th cup of coffee of the night. Everything is quiet on his monitor. He doesn't know that at this very moment, 7 teenagers from different parts of the world are copying the source codes of games worth billions of dollars. Lapsus Talas acted like a surgical team. Everyone had their own role. Someone was doing social engineering, calling employees posing as tech support. Some were looking for vulnerabilities in the systems. Arian coordinated the attack like a conductor runs an orchestra. The method was ingeniously simple. They didn't break in the front door like hackers do in the films. They were looking for a backdoor, employee data bought on the black market, the corporate email password of a junior developer who used the same password everywhere. That was enough. Electronic Arts fell overnight. 780 gigabytes of data. FIFA 22 source code. Frostbite engine. Internal development tools. Lapsus put it all up for sale on the Darknet as trophies, but they weren't interested in money. They needed a message, a statement, and they made one. February 2022 was the month the technological world realized no one is safe. NVIDIA, a company whose graphics cards are in every second gaming computer in the world, a market capitalization of $500 billion, protection, multi-layered with the best cybersecurity specialists. Lapsus Talas cracked them over the weekend. 1 terabyte of data. But the best part came next. Arian personally wrote the ultimatum, $4 million ransom. But not just that. They demanded that NVIDIA make its graphics card drivers open source. Remove restrictions on cryptocurrency mining. Imagine a group of teenagers dictating terms to a corporation worth $500 billion. It was as if a high school rock band demanded that the Rolling Stones change their style of music. NVIDIA tried to counterattack. Their security experts launched a counter-hack, trying to encrypt the stolen data on Lapsus servers. It was like a chess game between a grandmaster and a prodigy. But Arian saw this move coming. They had backups. In response, Lapsus published the details of 71,000 NVIDIA employees. Names, addresses, salaries. You can see the entire HR department in the palm of your hand. The world watched in shock. The tech giants that collect data from billions of people found themselves naked in front of a group of teenagers themselves. March 2022 year. Samsung, the South Korean conglomerate that makes everything from phones to tanks. Lapsus Talas hit it right in the heart. The mobile devices division, 190 gigabytes of sensitive data, Galaxy source code, biometric authentication algorithms, secret server access codes. It's all been put up as a torrent, available to anyone who wants it. A method of infiltration, MFA fatigue, multi-factor authentication fatigue. Imagine, you're a Samsung employee. Suddenly your phone starts receiving dozens of login confirmation requests. 1, 2, 10, 50. Your phone vibrates non-stop. You're in a meeting, trying to focus, but the notifications won't stop. And at some point, just to make it stop, you press confirm. Game over. Lapsus DOS is in. It's like the water torture method. Drop by drop until the person breaks down. Only instead of water, it's push notifications. But the loudest bang was yet to come. Microsoft, the company that created Windows, whose software is installed on 1 billion computers, whose products are used by governments, militaries, corporations all over the world. On the 22nd of March, 2022, Arian published a screenshot. It shows the internal Azure DevOps dashboard, Microsoft's Holy of Holies, the place where the source code for all their products is stored. Panic in Redmond. Emergency meetings. Top security experts working around the clock. But it's too late. 37 gigabytes. Bing source code. Cortana. Internal projects the world didn't even know about. It's all in a zip archive available for download. Microsoft tried to minimize the damage by claiming it was obsolete code. But everyone realized the truth. If a group of teenagers could get to the heart of Bill Gates's technology empire, what about the rest of us? In parallel, Lapsus Dolus was hitting other targets. Okta is a company that provides authentication services for thousands of other companies. It was like hacking a company that makes locks for half the world. T-Mobile, Mercado Libre, Ubisoft. The list of victims grew each week. Arian enjoyed the chaos. Every morning he woke up and read the news. CNN, the BBC, the New York Times. Everyone was writing about Lapsus Dolus. His creation was the top topic at board meetings from Silicon Valley to Wall Street. But he made a mistake. The classic mistake of any criminal. Hubris, hubris, hubris. Other hackers on the Darknet started to envy the fame of Lapsus Dolus, and someone decided to play by their own rules. A process known as doxing. Someone leaked the real names of the band members. On the 24th of March, 2022, there was a knock at the door of the Cordage's house in Oxford. Arian knew it was the end before he even opened the door. 7 policemen. An arrest warrant. Charges of burglary, blackmail, fraud. His mother cried while the police searched his room. They seized computers, phones, thumb drives. Every byte of data was now evidence. Arian sat in the police car, watching his house recede out the window. This is the end, he thought. Game over. But the justice system made a fatal mistake. Because of his age and diagnosis of autism, the court decided to release him on bail. Electronic ankle bracelet, internet ban, house arrest. For an ordinary man, it would be the end of a criminal career. But Arian Cordage was no ordinary man. September 2022 year. As he sat in the hotel under police surveillance, a plan was already brewing in his head. The most audacious, most insane plan in the history of cybercrime. Grand Theft Auto 6. The most anticipated game of the decade. Rockstar Games spent years and hundreds of millions of dollars in development. It was their jewel, their secret, guarded better than military secrets. Arian looked at the Amazon Fire Stick connected to the TV in the hotel room. The cops outside the door thought he was disarmed. They didn't realize who they were dealing with. The authorities thought they had tamed the beast. They were wrong. The most daring was ahead. 17 September 2022 year. Room 312 at the Travelodge Hotel. Arian Cordage is looking at the Amazon Fire Stick plugged into the television. A 30-pound device you can buy in any electronics shop. The policeman on duty outside the door didn't even think to confiscate it. Fatal mistake. Using a wireless keyboard and mouse, Arian downloaded a browser via the Fire Stick. Then he connected to his virtual server in Sweden, the same one the police couldn't find. The server had all his tools, all the hacking software, the entire database of stolen passwords. But most importantly, there was access to closed hacker forums where fresh data of employees of various companies was sold. Rockstar Games, the studio that created Grand Theft Auto, the most successful entertainment franchise in history. GTA 5 made more money than any film, book, or album ever. And GTA 6 was their secret project, with over 2,000 people working on it for 8 years. Arian bought login data for Slack, Rockstar's enterprise messenger. The cost, $3,000 in bitcoins. For him, it was pennies compared to what he planned to do. Once he logged in, he saw everything. Thousands of messages between developers, links to internal servers, discussions about game mechanics, arguments about the story. It was like reading a company diary, but he needed more. He started writing to employees, introducing himself as the company's IT guy. "Hi, this is John from the security department. We need to verify your access to the development server. Can you confirm login?" Social engineering in its purest form. Like a magician who diverts attention while pulling a rabbit out of a hat. One of the developers took the bait. A young programmer who was working on the physics of the cars in the game. He confirmed the entry, thinking he was helping a colleague. The gates of heaven have opened. In front of Aryan lay the entirety of GTA 6, 90 gameplay videos, dozens of hours of material that the world was to see only in 2 years. Main characters, story scenes, new mechanics, everything that Rockstar was carefully hiding. But that wasn't all. He downloaded the source code for GTA 5, the complete code of the game that made $10 billion, as well as the files for the canceled Bully 2. 3 terabytes of data, the work of thousands of people over nearly a decade. On the 18th of September at 5 in the morning GMT, Aryan created a new account on the GTA forums, nickname Tipo Tuber Hacker, and started posting. First video. The character is a woman named Lucia robbing a diner. Next generation graphics. Physics that takes your breath away. Second video. Police chase through the streets of Vice City. Neon lights, reflections in puddles, destructibility of the environment. Third, fourth, fifth. The forum has exploded. 100,000 hits in the first hour. People couldn't believe their eyes. This is fake? Is it real? It's impossible. Moderators tried to delete posts, but Aryan was creating new accounts faster than they could ban him. He was like a hydra. You cut off one head, 2 new ones grow. By midday, the whole internet knew about the leak. Reddit, Twitter, YouTube, everywhere was talking about GTA 6. Shares in Take-Two Interactive, Rockstar's parent company, plummeted 7% in one day. There was panic at Rockstar's headquarters in Edinburgh. Emergency management meeting. Lawyers are filing lawsuits. PR department trying to minimize the damage. But it's too late. The genie is out of the bottle. Aryan sat in his hotel room and watched the world go crazy with his actions. In Slack Rockstar, he left a message. "This is Lapsus Dullo. If you want to discuss terms, message me." They wrote. They offered money. A lot of money. But Aryan wasn't interested in money anymore. He wanted chaos. He wanted to show that one man with a fire stick could bring an industry worth hundreds of billions of dollars to its knees. The policemen at the door still had no idea what was going on in the room. They thought they were guarding a disarmed hacker. It's ironic. But Aryan made a mistake. Flushed with success, he began negotiating with journalists through the same server. BBC, The Verge, Wired. Everyone wanted an exclusive interview with the man who hacked Rockstar. On the 22nd of September, 2022, cybersecurity experts finally traced the connection. Swiss server, British IP address, Travelodge Hotel. The door to the room was kicked in at 6 in the morning. Aryan didn't even try to resist. He sat on the bed and smiled. Mission accomplished. The following months passed like a blur. Psychiatric evaluations, dozens of court hearings. Prosecutors read the charges for hours. 12 counts, including blackmail, fraud, violation of the Computer Crimes Act. But the most important thing happened during the psychiatric evaluation. Dr. Claudia Camden Smith, a leading expert in criminal psychiatry, spent dozens of hours talking to Arian. "Do you realize you have committed a crime?" she asked. "I realize I broke their rules," Arian replied. "But their rules are unfair. Corporations steal the data of billions of people every day. I just showed them that they're vulnerable too. Are you remorseful for what you've done?" Arian was silent for a moment. Then he looked her straight in the eye. "No. And if they let me out, I'll keep going. It's the only thing I know how to do well. The only thing that gives me meaning in life." Those words decided his fate. August 2023. Old Bailey Central Criminal Court in London. Judge Patricia Lees reads out the judgment. Arian Cortage is an exceptional danger to society. His technical skills, coupled with a complete lack of remorse and an expressed desire to continue his criminal activity, make him unsuitable for ordinary imprisonment. Life in a secure psychiatric hospital. Not prison, but not freedom either. A maximum security medical facility where he will spend an indefinite period of time, possibly the rest of his life. His 17-year-old accomplice received 18 months in a young offender center. The other lapsus participants either escaped or received suspended sentences. But Arian became a symbol, martyr to some, villain to others. At Broadmoor Mental Hospital, where Britain's most dangerous criminals were once held, Arian Cortage spends his days in a windowless ward. No access to computers, no internet, not even a calculator is allowed. A person who lived in the digital world is now cut off from it forever. It is like taking away the sight of an artist or the hearing of a musician. The doctors say he's adapting, that therapy is helping, that one day he'll be able to return to society. But those who saw his eyes during the last trial know the truth. There was no remorse in them, just cold calculation. He's still planning, still looking for vulnerabilities. Only now, not in the computer systems, but in the system that holds him. Rockstar Games estimated the damage from the hack at $3.5 million just for legal fees and security enhancements. But the real damage was intangible. A secret they'd kept for years was revealed by one teenager with a fire stick. The story of Arian Cortage is a warning. In a world where all our lives are digitized, where corporations know more about us than we do, there will always be someone who uses a system against itself. A teenager with autism, who was rejected by society, found a way to make society pay attention to him. He didn't rob banks or sell drugs. He just used a code, zeros and ones, and that was enough to shake the foundations of the digital empire. Lapsus has broken up. Its members are either arrested or in hiding, but their methods, their audacity, their philosophy lives on. New groups inspired by their example appear on hacker forums, because Arian Cortage proved the main point. In the digital world, David can still defeat Goliath. All it takes is a rock, and a good slingshot, or just an Amazon Fire Stick for 30 quid. The story I've told you is based on real events. Arian Cortage is a real man currently sitting in a mental hospital. His victims are real companies that have lost billions. This is not a call to action, it is a warning. In a world where technology is advancing faster than our understanding of its implications, where corporations are becoming more powerful than nations, there will always be those who want to challenge the system. The only question is whether we are prepared for the consequences. As always, Mr. Dark Web,